Recently, I was asked to talk about my painting supplies. I will start with paints. This is my humble opinion. Every artist needs to find what works for them by practice and just by doing it over and over and over again. I think there's no do's or don'ts or definites about it. Also, I'm not getting paid for any endorsement. The only reason I'm showing you this is because I love the products that I use. I use transparent watercolors, meaning light comes through. I layer color over color, called a wash, so my colors come through also. I buy tubes, and I'll show you what they look like. Buy tubes, and I squeeze them into pans. I let them dry and reconstitute them with water. That way I don't waste any paint. I mainly use Vinci, a US company, and Lucas, a German company. I'm looking for brightness. I'm looking for color saturation, which is when I paint a wash on, the first wash, and I dry it, and then put another wash on, that the color looks like it does out of the tube, really strong and really even. And I also look for an even blend across the paper. I keep a limited palette, for me a limited palette, the same colors for every painting that I do. I can mix almost any color from that palette, except the bright pink and a purple I use for flowers, which in the springtime my wife says, "You're going to paint flowers." And I say, "I'm not a flower painter," and I end up painting hundreds of flowers, and frankly, I do like them. I never use white. In traditional watercolor, your paper is white. You've probably heard it called negative space, so keep the white, reserve the white. Even though I have a limited palette, I have several paint boxes. My wife asked me once, if you use the same colors all the time, why do you need so many paint boxes? I guess I'm a paint box freak. I went to a museum show once and they showed the great masters' work and they showed their paint boxes and I was thrilled. So here are my paint boxes that I use for various reasons. The smaller ones like this one, I use for limited spaces. A lot of times I get moved out of my studio and into a butcher block table in the kitchen. I use the larger for major pieces. These I use for major pieces. If I'm working for a full sheet or something a little bit smaller, I'll use this. It has maybe a few more colors in it, but still the same color range. And then I have one, among others, that I love, which is the Winsor Newton. And this is a travel box, which I take with me when I travel. It's a great box to use. For my beginner students, two things. Number one, you notice how dirty my paint boxes are. Trust me, if you're getting better and you're painting a lot, your set's going to look like this. It's going to be dirty because you're working it all the time. You'll probably only take a week or so, once every week, to clean them out. A good starter set is this one. Now notice the duct tape on it. I've had this for years. I love it. It hardly closes well, but it keeps the paint in it very well, and it's called a Grumbacher transparent set of 12. Usually around $24. You can check Amazon, you maybe will get it a little better. Once you develop a style, you can order tubes, and I'll show you my tubes again. You can order tubes in your own favorite colors, because by practicing, you'll probably want to add some, you'll probably want to change your palette. Your palette won't look just like mine. So you can do that and just squeeze them into the receptacles in your box, and you'll be able to go. Just let them dry for about 24 hours so they don't run all over the place. Well, I hope this answers some of your paint questions. Thank you.